Okay, good morning, everybody. Sorry for starting late. Over here, and for those of us joining us live, please feel free to drop your questions online. We have in our midst members of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. We also have the accountants already seated. So, for staff of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, we will welcome you on stage and ask you some questions. Either one of you coming up or one of us having seats for so we can go questions at you. But before then, if you have a presentation or maybe you have some key things you need to learn, you need to know, there are new innovation, new technologies, new ways of doing things, and maybe it is easier for tax administration that we want us to learn. We appreciate if you can teach our viewers our abilities that's so able to see tax, because there are a lot of misconceptions about tax. Our calculation was inspired by just the questions that one scientist talks about the fact that they are doing business and they are taxed multiple times. They're looking at ways to navigate that and ensure that they are not just working all our government without, gaining the effort of their people. So we decided instead of just mastering for one person, we can do this for a whole lot of people with just one skill. So that's why we decided to put this together. So who will be going to the Federal Inland Revenue Service? Just share with us what it is we need to know. Please take notes. The essence is for us to learn and implement and see how we can use this knowledge to our advantage. If we want to pay tax, we want to pay as little as much, so that the government will have what it needs to do what they are, then our business will try without us having anything.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Adapo Mori from Taxpayer Services of the FIRS. Basically, when we talk about taxation, especially for those who are not, conversant with taxes, I think the best place to start is different types of taxes that we have in Nigeria. So we have the company income tax. Those are for registered companies. Company income tax is basically your tax obligation as a company to the country. Then for limited liability companies, especially, we have also the education tax. It's your contribution to education, tertiary institutions in Nigeria, the TED fund. We also have personal income tax. That's our own contribution individually. For those of us who are working for a government, those of us who are working, it's called pay as you earn, because it's deducted from our salaries. But for individuals who are into business or those who earn outside of like government deductions, they pay personal income tax on their own as that's personal income tax. Then we also have the value-added tax. Now, value-added tax is for everybody. As long as you consume a specific, as long as you consume the product, as long as you buy something, you pay for a good or a service, value has been added to whatever that the basic whatever the basic product was, value has been added, and that's why we pay value added tax. Value added tax is 7.5%. So everybody pays value added tax. As long as you are a consumer, you are the end user of a product, you are the end user of a service, you pay value added tax. Value has been added to you with that product, and it's expected that you reciprocate by paying 7.5% of whatever that thing costs. There are other taxes, but for now, I'll just stop there. When it comes to taxation of businesses, for businesses, the three main taxes are the company income tax, the education tax, and value-added tax. These three are collected by Federal Inland Revenue Service. There are other taxes, there's stamp duties, there's capital gains tax, there's NIF, different taxes. But the main ones that we focus on are company income tax for limited liability companies, education tax, and then the value-added tax, which of course, as I said, everybody pays. So, for everybody, enterprises and limited liability companies alike, and of course, government offices or registered corporations alike, you are a collecting agent. What I mean by collecting agent, like I said earlier, for value-added tax, it's the end user that gets to pay it. I'm the one who is gaining from this product, or I'm the one who's gaining this product, I'm the one who's gaining from this service. So I'm the one who's going to pay value-added tax. Now, the job of the collecting agents, the company or the institution, is to collect these taxes at the end of the month, at the end of every month, and render returns to federal government through the FIRS. This means that for every transaction you have with your clients, you're collecting an extra 7.5% of whatever it is you charged for the products or the goods and services that you are providing. At the end of the month, you collate what you have collected all through and remit. To make the process easier for our taxpayers, we have introduced the tax programs. It's an automated service, an automated system where you can easily calculate what your tax returns are and process the payment from your phone at the click of a few buttons. All you have to do is register with us, register for tax programs, put in your turnover for the month. The system automatically calculates what your VAT due is, and you can process. You can decide to go to the bank to pay or use your card to pay. Just right where you are, at the comfort of your home, your office, wherever you are in the world. That's the basics of tax programs. I don't know, should I elaborate on the process for payments? Okay. So like I said, we registered with the FIRS, that's the first step. Now, okay. First of all, value-added tax is, like I said, it's due every month. You collect whatever you sold from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. Now we give you exactly 3 weeks, 21 days on the dot to process and pay. You are given 3 weeks. So you have from 1st to 21st of the following month to pay whatever it is that you collected for the previous month. For example, those who commenced business, those who did transacted business, let's say in December, they had from 1st to 21st of this month, January, to process their VAT payments. The process is very easy. Like I said, you know what your turnover is, you know what business transactions you did throughout the month, you know how much you collected as revenue throughout the month. You enter that into the system. It's 7.5%, the fixed figure. The system automatically calculates what your VAT is. For those who transacted business with a government ministry of our startup or with a corporation, let's say a multinational or any major corporation in Nigeria, any government ministry of our startup. Now, these agencies, they do what we call withholding of your taxes. There's withholding tax where they withhold a percentage of it towards your company income tax. They also have withheld VAT. Now, if your VAT has been withheld by this corporation, there's also, of course, you may not necessarily need to pay, but there's a provision there for you to impute the figures that will be withheld, and your returns will be submitted. The office will eventually you provide the evidence of course, that transaction having been concluded, and you provide evidence of that transaction having been completed and the bank payment to be registered. So yeah, like I said, you have the option of paying in the bank or paying online using your debit or MasterCard, your debit card, or paying in the bank. Okay, I'm having a mental issue. I was trying to. Okay.
What is the number and where do I need it?
Okay. Thank you. That's very nice question. I'm sorry, I should have probably started from there. Now, TIN is taxpayer identification number. It means you are a tax, as long as you are an adult in Nigeria, you are an adult as from the age of 18. Now, as long as you are an adult in Nigeria, you are a taxpayer. Just as you attain adulthood, you can now contribute to development of the country. You are officially a taxpayer. So either as an individual or as the owner of a business, you obtain a taxpayer identification number. And you have a business, it's expected that you register that business. Because every business in the country should contribute minimum, no matter how small, to be able to contribute the barest minimum to development of the country. Of course, the government cannot provide us with roads, water, hospitals, education, and all that if they are not funded. And the minimum contribution we can give to our government is to pay our taxes. TIN is a registration number that counts you as a taxpayer in Nigeria. For every registered registered company, every registered corporation, every NGO, every church, as long as you are a registered entity in Nigeria, you obtain a TIN. Whether you are eligible to pay taxes or not, you are eligible to obtain a TIN. Like I said, it's just a TIN is just like, let's have a database of all taxable people, all taxable entities in Nigeria. It doesn't necessarily mean we're coming after you to enforce taxation. It just means that you are eligible to pay taxes, you are registered to pay taxes.
I think we need to correct the TIN number.
Yes, TIN number is correct, yes. So we TIN, taxpayer identification number, TIN.
Thank you. We have another question.
Okay.
He said, recently the federal government said they were going to add a general to increase. Does that mean that they are increasing the value added tax for beverages?
For beverages, I think that's part of this 2021 Finance Act. Yeah, they said they are not increasing the tax you as the final consumer is paying. It's the tax from the company, from the beverage company that refers to. So whatever the company is charging, you are only paying 7.5 VAT. That's all you are paying. Whatever other taxes are accruing are going to be deducted straight from the company, directly from the manufacturers, not the end users. The end user, all you pay is the value added tax. So whatever percent that the federal government is going to charge the beverage company, that doesn't affect you as the end user.
I wanted to ask.
Yes, sir.
But it will still come back to the end user. If the companies are taxed, they will definitely add to the price. Is that not going to, because that beverage stuff, I understand what the minister said, they wanted to stop it.
Yes, they want to encourage local drinks. Yes.
So, but it will still come back to the end user, even though we are being told that it's 7.5% that they're supposed to pay. So the average mind, the mind of the average Nigerian is, this is government adding more hardship to us. So I don't know if you can throw a little like that.
Let me put it this way: the way taxes are calculated based on your revenue. That's whatever you collect throughout the year. Now, your revenue, your expenses, and your profits, those three things are taken into cognizance whenever you are processing your taxes. Tax is usually deducted from profit. So if the company wants to be greedy and make as much profit as possible, then yes, that increment will affect the price of drinks. But if the company decides that, oh, okay, I understand that this comes out from profits, then it shouldn't affect. But like I said, your revenue, your expenses, your profits, those three things are always taken into cognizance before you are taxed. So even for these big companies, their revenue, their profits, and their expenses are taken into cognizance. Your profit, your expense, tax is not an expense. Tax is not an expense. That is one thing that we need to understand. Tax is not an expense. Tax is deducted from your profit. Company income tax is charged on company's profit. education tax is charged from companies. It's only value-added tax that's charged on the total sum of what that thing costs. If, for example, let's say this fan costs 2,000 naira, it's expected that that cost is what the company claims. But you are paying that 7.5 on top of it. That I'm paying that 7.5 on top of it. The company needs to render that returns. It's not supposed to affect the final price of this one. I don't know if I'm okay. So if they are selling a bottle of drink for 200 naira and you have paid VAT, their calculations shouldn't include that VAT. So, like I said, the end user shouldn't be the one to suffer it. It's the company that pays whatever addition there is on it.
Okay, Mike. I want to ask another question. You talked about things.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of people are confused about it, and there are many businesses that exist currently. They are, in fact, I'm sure that the number of those ones that are not registered are more than those that are registered. Many people are afraid, or they find it cumbersome, the process of getting their TIN number. So can you explain briefly the steps that is involved in getting your business registered?
Okay. Okay, steps in obtaining a TIN. Very first step, the main step, is to register your company with TAC. It doesn't just go that you are answering a business name at Graham, Morin and Associates, and I call it my business. But as long as it's not registered with TAC, it's not a registered entity yet. As soon as I take that name, go to CAC, register it, obtain my CAC documents, become a registered entity. The next step is to walk into the nearest FIRS office to you. We'll give you some forms. Make copies of those documents. We'll give you some forms to submit and generate a TIN for you. Simple like that. It's not a long, cumbersome process. And the most beautiful part is TIN is free. You don't pay anything. TIN is absolutely free. So like where you go to CAC, you pay online, you do this, you do that, and at the end of the day, you get TIN is free. You're not paying anything to the FIRS.
There's one question. Then, as an individual, how do I go about getting a consent? Even if I don't have a business? This is the response to the question that I have.
Okay, yes. For now, for individual TIN, you approach the state revenue service closest to you. I think here we have a low internal revenue service. That's where we obtain. That's where I obtain my TIN. That's where we all obtain. So that's for an individual. Yes.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
He said that truthfully there are a lot of registered businesses compared to unregistered ones. What exactly would it do for me? I should have a business today. But I'm not of the thought that I should be paying tax, so I don't know what exactly does for me.
Okay. Now, if you have a registered business, now in Nigeria, you cannot open an account in your business name without the taxpayer identification. So that's the first thing. Every registered business who plans to do business will register for TIN. Now, like I also said there, it doesn't mean we are going about, when you register for TIN, doesn't mean we are going about enforcing, you have to pay your taxes, dragging you, issuing letters and telling you to pay millions and whatever. We're not doing that. We don't do that. The thing is, TIN is a database. We need to take the issue of database serious in this country, because we have thousands of registered companies that are portfolio offices. They're not doing anything with them. So, like I said, you want to go ahead and do business in Nigeria, important for you to have it.
Okay. I have this question.
Okay.
That's why you have to one another. So what makes sense in new business?
Okay, that's beautiful. For now, government incentives to new businesses, micro and small businesses. Let's start for new businesses. On our end, for newly registered limited liability companies, the first tax clearance is absolutely free. As long as you are not commenced, as long as you don't commence business, your tax clearance, your first tax clearance is absolutely free. You're not paying anything, you can obtain your tax clearance as long as within a specified period. If it's beyond that specified period and you are still not commenced business, provide the office with evidence that you haven't commenced business and process tax clearance.
I think you already answered the next question. You said, are we supposed to pay to get our tax clearance?
Like I said, if the company is new, there's a specified period. If the company is new and you haven't commenced business, the first tax clearance is absolutely free. Subsequent tax clearance too, as long as you provide evidence that you are yet to commence business.
Ma, I want to
Yes.
ask,
Yes.
is there, like for new business now, is there any tax safe period where they don't need to pay tax? Because I hear something like that. Like, is there any tax safe period where new business are getting tax free time so that they can grow? And so I wanted to know what, for how long?
For limited liability companies, 6 months. You have 6 months. Government assumes for that first 6 months, it's enough time for you to set up. Because we don't take registering a company lightly. You don't just register a company and decide, okay, I'll deal with it whenever. When you set up a company, register a company, it means you're ready to do business. It means you're ready to make money. So the government gives you 6 months. It's enough time for you to set up, make your links, make your connections. And for that 6 months, whatever you need from the FIRS is absolutely free. Then also, yes, that's true. Then for support medium and small scale companies, this new Finance Act says that as long as a company is, your turnover is less than 25 million, there's some taxes that you are exempt from. As long as your turnover is less than 25 million. I know that we encourage it to a lot of small and medium scale businesses. As long as I'm not making, I can still fulfill my obligations as a taxpayer by registering for TIN, submitting all my returns, and you still do not have to pay that. But the federal government acknowledges that yes, you are a small and medium scale entrepreneur.
Okay, so ma,
Yes,
I have another question.
yes.
It's kind of confusing when people are registering business sometimes. They are like, who should I register with? Is it FRS or ERS? Because I'm in those states. So
Okay.
people confuse it sometimes. So I don't. What kind of business are we going to register and we get our team from FRS? And what kind of business are we going to get our team from ERS?
Okay. Now, like I said, now in Nigeria, FIRS team is the only operable team in this country. To open a business account, you need an FIRS team. So whether you are an enterprise or a registered limited liability company, a partnership, limited by guarantee, trusteeship, any registered entity right now, the only accepted team, the only accepted TIN is FIRS. But when it comes to paying your taxes, FIRS only deals with VAT, and then company income tax and every other taxes for limited liability companies. For enterprises, your company taxes go to state. Personal income tax goes to state. But for limited liability companies, your company income tax comes to FIRS.
Okay, I think this should be solicited.
Okay.
This transfer, for example, had different days about traveling. We had the company name that just the name. So because was good for taxpayers, so when they said that the new place of travel, they start bringing calculating things that maybe I was thinking that tax exam supposed to be what we're able to achieve and we calculate. And secondly, as an individual, for us, maybe can we actually maybe we need a tax clearance for anything? Do we need to pay? Let's say maybe you have a tax, you were working somewhere before and maybe stop working for a period of time and you need anything. So maybe you want to tax clearance. Can you still go and collect tax clearance for what?
Your question now, I feel I'm not properly equipped to speak on behalf of the AIRS. Because from what I understand from the questions, I think
we
they are
should
mostly
question. Is it a company? Is it an enterprise?
Yes.
an enterprise
I said your
Yes.
first question here is
Limited
or an enterprise.
tax clearance. For tax clearance.
See, because let me speak for my own, let me speak for my office. FIRS will not charge you for what they cannot prove. You provide evidence that this is what I have done. We check, this is what this company has actually done, and we issue tax clearance based on that. If during our investigation we discover undisclosed income, we will attach proof of that undisclosed income, which means you did some jobs and you probably paid it into another, probably you have an account with GTP, you have an account with UBA, you have an account with First Bank, and you provide FIRS with only First Bank. And during our investigations, we find out that you have millions, you have a lot of money hidden in your GTP account. That is what we call undisclosed income. That is the only time FIRS will disagree with what taxpayer has submitted. And that is the only time, and even before we raise your tax, we will notify you. This is your undisclosed income. This is how we found out, this is where we found it. And unless you can provide evidence that this doesn't belong to you, these are your new taxes. We give you a specified period to reply. You reply, it's not my money, it's not my account. As long as you can prove it's not, then, but if you can prove, oh yes, it's my account, I forgot to include it, you pay your taxes, you obtain your tax clearance and speak it. I cannot speak for Edo State Internal Revenue Service.
I think you should just elaborate on as an enterprise, they keep you tax.
Yes. For enterprises, again, I think for enterprise, they give you your own individual tax clearance. The owner, if you see a sample of their tax clearance, I think it carries both the company name and the owner's name. So, like I said, I can't speak on their behalf, but I don't know why he's wanting to travel with an additional incentive. I can't speak for their behalf. But I know that FIRS will not charge you for what we cannot prove. As long as we know that this was your income for the year 2020, the year 2021, we process as such. That's it.
For the personal.
For personal income tax. Well, like I said, I still can't speak on their behalf, but I know they're supposed to charge you taxes per year based on your income. And I've been privy to fill their income tax form, and it's based on your income. So I don't know how they calculate. I can't speak on their behalf. Okay.
I want to know, a lot of people are now, I mean, I really don't really know, but I sometimes I just watch that process. What are the plans if you are not following your tax, are they penalties?
Yes, as in the case for every offense, there's a penalty. For company income tax, you have company income tax, like I said, your taxes for an accounting year. Most companies calculate their accounting year as January to December. Some can say July to June, but as long as it's a full calendar year, January to December, July to June, August to July ending, however they decide to calculate it. You have 6 months to calculate your revenue, calculate your expenses, calculate your profits, calculate your tax due. That's where the external accountant, the external auditor comes in. Now, he is a neutral person, separate from both your company and the FIRS. He is the neutral body that helps you calculate from your revenue, your expenses, and your profits. He helps you calculate what your taxes are. So for that, you have 6 months. You have, for those who have the accounting year from January 1st to December 31st, you have to June 30th to render your return. Now, as by 1st of July, penalties start accruing. First is at the first month of default, so that's July, is 25,000. And then subsequent months, 5,000 on top till whenever you eventually render your returns. Then for VAT, value added tax is monthly. You have 3 weeks, 1st to 21st of the new month to render your returns. If you fail to render VAT returns at the end of that period, the penalty is 50,000 naira. The penalty is 50,000 naira. Now, I think why it used to be 5. It has been 5 for years, for decades. But with this new review, 2019, 2020, 2021 Finance Act, was reviewed to 50,000 naira. I think why it's that high is probably because something you should be doing every month. It's something that should be routine. You should be used to it. So probably that's why penalties are high.
I know you are taking much of the time.
No. Yes.
He said, what is JTB? And I think you guys have to make the people aware more about this asset because it seems to be confusing people. If people are PG, you can partner with organizations like this to bring awareness to the people. I think the main question is what is JTB and how you can bring awareness?
Yes. Okay. So JTB is Joint Tax Board. The Joint Tax Board is an organization that caters to the. Sorry, let me start again. JTB is the Joint Tax Board. It's a board made up of the 36 state boards of internal revenue, the Federal Board of Internal Revenue, and the FIRS. That's 38 boards. The JTB is set up to harmonize the workings of these tax laws. JTB is set up to help minimize double taxation. What do you mean by double taxation? You are paying the same tax to state, you are paying the exact same tax to federal government, you are paying the exact same tax to JTB's job is to help eradicate double taxation. It's like each tax board stays within their tax collection brackets, their tax collection guidelines, and not stray into any other one like I said, to prevent double taxation. I'm sure most of us have noticed that there's something called the JTB TIN. Now, the JTB TIN is a 10-digit TIN. A lot of companies, a lot of enterprises got it as registration, probably got an email or something. But for now, those numbers are used in state tax board. Still in the process of harmonizing the JTB TIN. So for now, it's not in use. For now, it's not in use. For now, the only recognized TIN, the only TIN we are using in Nigeria is the FIRS TIN. That's the only thing you can use to operate your to open a bank account. That's the only thing you can use to apply for jobs in federal establishments and multinationals. Yes, sir.
About value added tax, how personally I would like to clarify that value added tax because I always see it everywhere, so especially after making calls, VAT. So I want to know if we are the one paying this or the company or the organization that's paying us.
Value added tax is paid by that person who receives the value given. Value added tax, the person who pays value added tax is the person who received the value. Like, okay, let me do something. Let's say I have a farm, for example, and I have plantain trees. Now, that plantain planted in the ground, I didn't put much value into it. Trees grow, I cut, take to the market. It's still raw material. It's still raw material. I take to the market, I sell. Now, as a plantation farmer, I do not collect value-added tax. It grew, I cut, I took to the market, I sold. Now, you come and you buy 200 bunches and you cut them up, put a little oil on fire, put a little salt, fry. Then take little pouches, package it, put your label on it, you have added value. Once that labeled thing gets to whether it's the wholesaler, whether it's the retailer, whether it's the supermarket, whether it's Mama John's shop by the side of the road, you have added value. And so when he comes and he wants to buy it, he's not going to buy it at the price you bought those plantains. You have put in labor, you have put in effort, you have put in a lot of things. When he is going to buy it, he is going to buy it at, when you are calculating, you're going to calculate the amount you bought, the ingredients you used. You're going to calculate your labor. You're going to calculate transport. You're going to calculate everything, all those expenses. Then you calculate your profits. So let's say it costs you 150 to produce one sachet, and you sell it at 200. When he's coming to buy it, he's going to add an extra 150 because he's paying for that value. Now, your selling price is at 200. That 150 is the value added tax. He's the one eating it, he's the one paying value added tax. Your job is to collect 150, 150, 150, 150, 150. At the end of the day, pay everything to FIRS. So when it is in its raw form, When there's no value added, there's no need for value added tax. We don't charge for that. But once there is value added, if you want to throw a party, you get a caterer, you get a decorator, they are adding value to your event. You are going to pay them for their service. They will charge you value added tax. These are examples. So that's what value added tax is. The end user, the person who gets the reward, is the person who pays for it. The person who gets to enjoy the final product is the person who pays for it. I hope that's explanatory.
Yes, this is, for example, this one say, but when you're talking about the GDP.
Okay, yes, yes, this is the JTB card, and you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 digits. FIS still is an 8 digits followed by dash 0001. But this is personal because it carries passport. So it shows that it's for you. This is not for a company. This is for you as an individual. So it carries your passport, they do data capture, biometrics and all that.
So with this, you pay your personal.
With this, you can pay your personal income tax.
I think we have a lot of persons that you can't take them for like this one is saying you people should partner with organization like this.
Yes, we plan to work on that a lot this year. Well, we're looking at working on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you much. It was a very nice session. You guys should do this for me. That is more or less just the same.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
So we're looking forward to partnering with you.
But the speed with which FIRS responded to us, even though we didn't work with it, Thank you so much. So without taking so much time, we just go straight to getting the accountants. We will help us business people to put our books in place so that we pay less taxes. But we really want to pay less taxes. Or let's say we pay the right amount of taxes. You know, as business people sometimes want to brag about our profits. And what we don't know is that the more profits we pay, the more taxes we pay. And sometimes because we don't calculate our profit, what we call profit is not really profit. Let me cite this example for the account. You go to the market to buy something for 10 naira. You come to the office, you're selling for 15 naira, and you tell yourself that profit is 5 naira. Is that correct? That's correct. That's what we do most of it. So profit will be 5 naira. Because from that 5 naira, that's where you pay lightly for education. This way you operate. That's where you pay salaries. Spend cost of transport even to get those. You are going to spend money to advertise the market to sell that. If you don't accumulate all of those costs, you think 5 naira is your profit. Then if you do all of those manipulations, like some of these will be then like that. You find out that your profit is probably just 1 naira. And you report rights, so you are taxed with that 1 naira on 5. So let's make welcome my good friend. Very hard to see. I've been trying to see for the past, it's not 3 years now. We will talk of what to see, we will see, we will see. He decided to honor us today to share his time with us. So we need a marker for the marker.
Okay. It's a privilege for me. I think fiscal federal revenue has said a lot of things. How we come the angle of interfacing the business entrepreneur and the relevant as authority making for. Like as you have said before, keeping records very, very important. And if we are to look at the issue of bookkeeping, so accounting. When I say bookkeeping, accounting, or what have you, all is to generate financial information, which is very, very important, whether for tax purpose or also for the entrepreneur to understand what is going on as long as the business is concerned. Understand in the sense that whether you are making profit or loss. Also understand when you want to take some business decision, especially if you want to go and obtain bank facilities now. You must see your financials as to what is going on as long as the business is concerned and whether the business is profitable or not. And most of these banks, as you know, they want to put their money into businesses that can yield profits. If you declare, if you look at your financial records when you prepare your system reports, you are having losses, they can never put money there. But rather, when these things are prepared, it's done in a way that yes, this business is viable, this business is profitable. So they want to say, okay, they can release money when they are sure they can get their money out. Now, coming to what I just put here, bookkeeping, accounting. Some people say bookkeeping, they might interpret it another way. But in bookkeeping, we are just looking at how to keep business records. How to keep business records. Normally, accounting is wider than bookkeeping because accounting will design the structure and everything that the bookkeeper is going to follow. But most of the time, you go to some organization, they will say accountant, meanwhile, it's a bookkeeper, but that's not where we are. But the most important thing is to see that good records, good books are being maintained as long as the business is concerned. Now, as to the issue of tax, definitely you must keep good records as to your sales, or what we call your revenue, day by day. They must be well maintained. Because if the tax authority has to visit you now, it's your books they will see. It's your records they are going to check. And when you maintain good records, it makes matters easier for you. Because if the tax authority visit you and say this is liability you are owing, and you say this is not what you are owing, if you bring good records, they are ready to follow your way. It's not an issue of arguments. Tax authority or relevant authority don't bring tax from you from the air. It's what they see from your records they can use to assess you to tax. So we mean that keeping good records of books are very, very important. And that one starts by day to day of all your daily transactions. So that at the end of the month, like the paying of VAT, which is said, which must be paid at the end of the month before the 21st of the other month. And this one will only come, the way you calculate it will be when you look at your sales records, before you can ask, okay, yes, this is what we sold for that month. They calculate that on it. Like for federal revenue, it's 7.5%, 7.5% of your sales of your turnover. But you know where we are in this state, they are still collecting consumption tax. They themselves collect 5%. I don't know whether the federal level, I don't know what people are still doing over that. I think they are also issue of double tax exploitation. Because they will collect on what that they will still go and share in the VAT when it's being generated at the end of the day. So keeping your daily sales records are very, very important. And keeping your daily sales records as to sales or revenue, you must know which of them are in cash and which of them are in credits that are not being paid for. Here, your cash, especially the use of POS now. You go to some place or business places now, They said, I want to pay with POS. So you must also make the POS available. Not just only when people can bring cash, no. So that can take advantage of both sides. So not one say no, don't accept POS, that you are not ready for the new business offering that is going on. So you must take advantage of both sides. Once you use POS, that will go straight to your bank statement, to your bank account at the end of the day. So that's why when you are going to calculate the sales made at the end of the month, you must look at the one that you receive in cash direct, both the one in the POS, then the one that which went to the bank, your bank account now, and check there so that you can be able to pay the right tax. You know, we always see a lot of arguments. We that are practitioners, are tax consultants, we find it difficult to rescue most of these business people because of what they don't have good records being maintained. In fact, when you see some people, keeping your good record of business is very, very important, very, very paramount for success of business in the 21st century. Because if you don't maintain good record, we are going to be having problems with the tax authority all the time. And they are going to be bringing tax to you, which you argue and argue. But when you maintain your good books, then you see that you don't have peace of mind and good relationship at the end of the day. So maintaining your sales books, your revenue, very, very important. Then you can also maintain your expenses book too. Your expenses. Or as you are incurring them, you must maintain them. Let's look at hotel business now. You go to market, whatever is being money is being spent, you must take account of them. So that when you are preparing your detailed report at the end of the day, you are able to capture all of them. I know you won't have receipt for some time, but genuinely, if you put it aside, they are coming, they will understand that yes, we can't go to a market and go and have receipt for pepper or for vegetable. But when they see your records are beautiful, not mutilated here and there, especially when you use this analysis spread book or sheet, which will give you like that analysis book now. You can have do it month by month and item by item. Maybe you have the one for stationery, for your drinks, or what have you, your other things, ingredients. You have all spaces for them. So you maintain the records. Then you put these expenses there, your salary will also be there, your salary book. You also maintain records for salary books too. And in that salary book, or your salary records, book or record, yeah, the salary you pay to your workers, you must document it. And when you pay to them at the end of every month, they should always sign for it. It's more efficient and better for you than you coming and say this was the salary I paid. No. Anyone you also pay to the bank, they must be well monitored. And that will help you, especially when you are dealing with the state internal revenue service or the board, because they are doing what we call the payee. So maintaining your salary book will help you in addressing the issue of payee, which is pay as you earn. Are we all following? So we help you greatly, so I don't have a problem. Even though they're saying the auditors and all that, when the book is well maintained, if they give you a liability that was there before, they will go back and reverse it because of what? You have the good record that you have maintained over the period. So business is not a try and error thing, or just wake up and just be doing it. But it's not how much will it take to get some books to rely on policy. And remember that when transactions are fresh, when you document it, that's when you can be able to capture what really goes on. Not the one you put in your memory and everything. And especially if you're able to afford the system, computers and all that, you should have somebody there as they are coming, they are keying it day by day. You can even understand it. So even as you are spending your money, you can even be able to know area of waste. So you can even contain it because business is a competition. And if you are not able to have all those things, you will always run into a problem. If you are spending too much money on diesel or fuel, you can also keep track of it. If you not okay, at the way we are spending, maybe we have to go for solar. Those decisions can only be possible when you have records of what you are spending on all these items. So you don't just wake up. So business is more guided, is more successful, is more profitable when you maintain good books. So it's not just only for because you want to deal with the tax authority, but to know how your business is moving is very, very important. Are you making profits? Are you making losses? Your good records, because the business must be separated from the life of the owner. You don't mix them up, because the business life is different from the owner's life. And that's why when you are operating business, as long as you are registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, and whether you are given a business name or you are limited, you have to now open an account. Every transaction that going through that account should be for the purpose of that, and not the personal transaction of the owner. Because any money that you go and put your personal money there, if the tax authority and federal revenue, they will charge, they will pay, you must pay tax on it. You cannot come and say it was my personal money that came, except they don't want to understand the truth. But I'm telling you straight away, the right way, any account that you have that bear the business name, it is only things that relate to the business that was what go into that account. You can have your personal account separate. Don't be missing both sides. So if you want to have a good relationship with the account, without argument, your business records, your business account must maintain the one that go with your name. So if you come and say, hey, there's also 1 million was transferred from my account, 10 million for this, that. As long as you can pass through that account that bears the business name, the tax authority what we subject it to the issue of the VAT. So you maintain your expenses books. Your expenses book, as I've said, your daily expenses as to depend on the type of business you are running, whether you are buying diesel, you are buying stationery, you're even to make phone call, your charges, you must also document it. Are you getting me now? You must also document them. I wait for another 1 week here now. So they are very, very important. I don't mention of your salary book, your expenses book. Then you must also maintain books for your creditors. What you call the payables. The payables. When you say creditors, that means those the business is owing. You know, in business, you cannot be able to transact on a 100% cash basis. There are some people who say supply, later we pay. So you must keep record of them. And you must also know the date you have agreed with them when you have to pay them. So I don't also have problem, because business is built on trust. Because if you don't pay them as I went to, and say bring again, they respond, that means they will say you are not reliable. So when you keep good records, you can say, we are owing these people, we're supposed to pay them. So I quickly meet up. So that what, anytime you don't call them, they what? And that's why it's only possible when you have good records being maintained. Not playing ahead of us. Okay, we are going down 500,000, we are going down 100,000. It's only possible when you maintain good records for that purpose. And as you pay them, what do you do? You also notice immediately that social money have been released out. Then also your debtors books, your debtors, what we call the receivables. Your debtors are the business customers, those you sold to on card that have not yet paid. And you must also maintain records. And as I said, it's not everybody you sell on credit to anyway. It's those that are credible, those who are used and say, yes, these are trustworthy, that even if you send them on credit, they will definitely pay. And you must also maintain what? Good records. If you go to some people books, and especially all these business here and there, you see where they will be writing it, almost everything modulated up. You can open a page in all of them. You can even open a sheet from them in your system. In order to have a clear record and itemize everything that was given to them or that was sold. And the date, the time, everything will become clear. So when the person wants to argue, when you look at these people, they maintain books to everything, and it helps you to have business confidence and also have trust on your people. When they say, yes, I'm owing you 1 million, and when you present your records, they will actually see that yes, it's 1 million that you are really owing. So very, very important. Then the sales of revenue books asset, that one can take care of your cash book, which your cash book, so your day-to-day transaction. Then another one you can also maintain, you can also like your bank records now, your bank transaction, like your cash book. Your cash book can cover both for cash and the one that has to do with transaction from the bank. That's why at the end of the day, I tell you also have to reconcile the money, what you recorded in your book, and the one that is in the bank, so that you now know area of agreement and differences. At times they might not be debiting you for some certain items which you don't know, especially those big companies where their money run into millions, especially some of those fraudulent bank officials. They will not be making 1 or 2 deductions, but because they are not carrying out bank reconciliation month by month, they will not know what is going on. Then why you need to carry out bank reconciliation every month, because there are some of your cashier in the office too. There are some money say, have you paid to the bank? They say he has paid. And maybe when now come now and do reconciliation, the money has not really entered there. So you can detect all these fraud and errors immediately in order not to run into problems. So all that I have simply presented to you is not just only say for purpose of tax, but for proper management of the business and for proper understanding. So you can also be able to know whether you are moving forward or you are moving backward. As I rightly said, you cannot go to market and buy something 100 naira, come and sell 150. You not say you have made profit, especially in this hard time, because there are lots of what expenses that goes on and on. Then you have yes, it's here. Other books you must still maintain. You must also maintain books of the business assets. The business assets. Assets of the business. Go say assets now. If you have vehicle, you have generator, infrastructure, wherever, you must document it. And where's location? Anyone that you have sent out from one repair or the other, they must what? Must document it. Very, very important, because those are things that whereby at the end of the day, you want to show your assets and their liability. It becomes very, very clear. Then another one you can also maintain is your stock. So what we call inventory. Inventory records. The stock is another great place where fraud are mostly perpetrated. Now, in your stock or your inventory records, you must look at the goods that you receive day by day. And when you are able to maintain their record, you can know the one that is moving out very fast. That's why if you go to some pharmacy now, you see them having big cards to each of those sections. As anyone that is sold, they write it. And so if they want to place order for replenishment now, it's not all those stuff they will replenish. They will check the one that are moving fast and what? And place order. Because of what? They have records to keep track. So that when you have records for all these your events, especially when you are running maybe supermarket or any other, able to hotel or whatever, you can be able to know the different items of ingredients or goods that you have, so I know the one that is moving fast and the one that is not moving fast, because it is money that is tied into all these things. Am I communicating? Money that tied into all this, if you don't manage it well, a lot of money might be wasting away. So maintaining your inventory and your stock records, they are very, very important. Now coming back to the issue of the tax as an emphasis, the issue of tax now, whether dealing with IFRS or state internal revenue service, issue of taxes. Here, they will collect what is known as your pay, which is what? Pay as you earn. And which record will help you in addressing that seriously? Which record is going to help you that you are maintaining? Which record will help you to address when you are relating with them? Your salary book, your salary record. That salary book or record will keep what? The salary you are paying to your staff. And I said if you have the salary book, so what's your name? David, maybe you are the owner of the business now. You now have your market for pay salary of 50,000 this month. And when you put it, what you have to do, you should also sign that actually receive that salary. So that at the end of the month, you now know the tax you are going to pay for the state government, which is only being possible from this your book that have been maintained. But before you can arrive at that issue of paying that payee, every year you're supposed to make your tax returns, especially of the workers. They have a different form, which is the H1A3, which is a form you fill to name all your workers, the salary you pay to them. Then when they send it to the nearest tax office, almost all of them, they are the tax branch that is closer to us. The one that is closer to be the tax office. Then when they get it there, at the end of the day, they will not prepare a schedule which will show to you the tax you are going to remit for no year for that staff and the one you are going to remit month by month. So that's why when you are doing that, any worker that leave, you must write to them that social worker is no longer in our organization. Why do you need to inform them? Because if you don't do that, you keep paying tax for that person. But the tell you you didn't inform us. Because at the end of the year, when you want to fill the rate for entry again, you must account for all the one you already provided. If you are not telling them there, this one I'm no longer with you, they will not listen. Because it's already programmed in their own system. So except there's a letter to back up which you wrote to them, and the worker just is no longer with you. And that's what you also attach, which they will also accept. So you see all this one I'm saying now, in running the business and relating with the tax authority is not an issue of trial and error. You will agree with me why most businesses, most business owners have problems with the relevant tax because of what? Because of what? Poor record keeping. When you see when they call now, I went to my name. It's okay, bring your books. When you see the books now, there's nothing to even write home about. And if you have what to do, you should let us go and meet them and appeal and reconcile. So when you succeed, they now come back and sit your client down and say, please, from today, let's maintain good records to make the work easier for the owner and for the consultant at the end of the day. So you must maintain good records. And to address this issue of the pay, as I've said, is going to come from what? Your salary, record, and book. Like for example, I just said now, you pay what is known as consumption tax. Consumption tax. Especially when you are running hotel business and all what have you. That one, for you to be able to solve that problem again, look at what? Your sales to revenue book, your cash book, your day-to-day, which will tell you the tax you are going to pay. That consumption tax will attract 5%. Am I communicating? So that they will not be on your neck and say, go and pay 1 million, go and pay that. The client that always has that problem, government say, go and pay 5 million, go and pay 5 million, is because we don't have good records. Because there are some business where they will sit at the meeting and say, what kind of business am I doing? See my record, people should go and look at it. Am I communicating? So your question will be clear that you maintain good records, and that is what is actually there. And they have no option than what? To follow what you have prepared. So not they don't wake up and say, social business is supposed to be making social amount of money. Are we in order? So it's not they start detecting how you're supposed to look at my records. This is what I make. And based on what you make, they are going to what? Follow and charge you for that tax. So I don't say, oh, this one is paying 1 million. By now, you're supposed to also be paying 1 million. You know, in the eye of government always do business that you are always expanding. You are always expanding. Year in, year out, they keep topping it. For them to reduce it, become a problem. But when you maintain your record, what? Become what? Easier. This is my salary I pay to my worker. This is what I And this year we didn't make anything. Not you always bringing your tax in a progressive form. And when, especially that COVID-19 period, when you know what happened, almost 6 months, businesses were closed. If you have good records, now what? Take it to them. If they are not ready to listen, what do? Call your lawyer. Your lawyer cannot come in. If they still come in, they are not ready to be there, they go to court for another, because as long as you are sure the records to maintain and the bank accounts you have, they are all genuine, not the one you're going to hire some certain one. I know they want to get there that they now open up everything. Am I confessing?
Yes, I don't forget this question, so I want to ask that. For example, this construction tax is already 5%.
Yeah.
If the value added tax is already 7.5%.
7.5 at federal.
Okay, that is as federal.
Yes, yes.
Okay, if for example now that service are going to consume or they are providing that they are collecting 5% for, does that mean that they will not collect that VAT again?
No, the standard that going to collect the VAT. The state that collect this must go. And then something when I was started, they say that's double taxation.
Yes, exactly.
Because we collect 5% from them, federal revenue also come and collect 7.5%, and at the end of the day, the states share in that VAT, because when they collect all this VAT, there's also the share to states. You know the one I was telling them. Which supposed not to be so. The matter is still on. They have the argument that it's double taxation, because we are putting all of them on the head of the consumer. Because the time the food is selling, that's the same almost drink out where everything, the price are always going up. There are some hotel you go and they say a bottle of water is 500 naira, or a Coke is 1,000. Because federal will come and collect, they will also come and collect, and they are all in the head of food on the consumer. And that will continue to what? Make price to go up. Local government will also come. With your sample, all this, the financial will come. We're supposed to pay for this. Waste management will come and tell us we are the one that have been assigned to carry this waste. You see a lot of activities going on. And you know the challenge we have is security too. And you also have to put up your own security if you know you want to succeed and remain in that business. Am I communicating? So, but all the same, as you are paying all this money out for different activities, you should what? The record should be well maintained. So that when you are dealing with any of these relevant authority, whether federal or state, you can have what? You can run smoothly and with peace of mind. And when you call your tax consultant or your auditor, you also make the work easier for that person. Make it easier. So it's more beneficial when you maintain good records. As I've said, not just for purpose of the tax, okay, for purpose of understanding how the business is going. Because you must know, are you sure we can continue this business? Are you sure we can? No, because of you will see the money coming and the expenses that are falling there, then it will guide you a lot and move on smoothly. So you will need the salary book, as I've said, for purpose of what you're paying. They also need your card book for purpose of the consumption tax. Now, if you are to move at the issue of maybe the FRS collecting their VAT, the FRS collecting their VAT from FRS, your card book or your revenue book or your sales book will also be greatly relevant. So when they come, though you will be the one to always go and pay, because when they want to come and carry out an audit, they will look at your card book, and most of the time you will also bring out your bank statements. Am I communicating? So they will value and check all of them so that they will give you a proper assessment. So if you maintain your good sales book or card book, then so that you will be able to pay the right and proper tax. And as we were saying, why you maintain all these books? One, to pay the right tax, so I don't run into problem. Not that when they are coming, one is closing up and be running away. So it's not the tax matter is not supposed to be a resulting exercise. But most businesses and entrepreneurs run into problem because of what? Poor books being maintained. If they give you a high liability, but when you bring your books out, you call your consultant, you work them out. Once the government, you must know. If government bring 10 million to you now, if you go and tell them, say, I'm not owing you 10 million, I'm owing you 500,000. As long as you bring your books well maintained, they will set aside all those ones they have done. You don't come and tell government say, I'm owing you 500,000. Where is the thing to back it up? And the things to back it up are what? Your business information, your business records, your business documents, so that wherever they want to take it to, and when they see it, because there's always room for reconciliation. When they send liability to you, they want you to respond. And once you respond, they look at your position and they are satisfied. What they do, they reverse that assessment and follow your own, if it's genuine as you have presented. So you will quite agree with me that issue of maintaining good records will give you good relationship with the relevant tax authority, and will also help you to understand your business better, so you can be able to stand competition, because we are in a competitive world today. So that if you want to offer credit facility to somebody because of the good book that we maintain, you can say, yes, this one, we'll be able to sort all of them out. Especially the issue of inventory, we will also be able to say, no, we already have this one, we are not buying this one. Because if you know your cash is very, very important as a blood is to the body, that's how your cash is to meet up with responsibility here and there. If you also maintain good books, if you need bank facilities, and then when you maintain your card budget, you'll be able to know that so time we are going to need so card to supplement or augment what we are doing. And start negotiating with them very fast. If you wait straight to the last minute, they will give you a higher rate. But when you start negotiating far ahead, what do you do? They will be the one begging you, say, come and take. But when they know that your life is already tied on it, they are ready to give you what? Any rate, as you know, like you want to travel through air now. If those that book a month ago and those that say, no, I want to fly, would they be the same? No. You find out that maybe the tell say, now, 1 is 60,000, but maybe the person who booked almost a month ago pay 15,000 or 20 or thereabout. So you can see the difference. So it will help a lot when you maintain your good records, help you as the owner to manage the business very well, help the consultants by way of tax consultant or your standard auditor to prepare the right books for you, and also be able to do the job easier, especially when it's intervening for you within the relevant tax authorities, and also give you peace of mind when they also come too without you being afraid. Are you getting now? So it's better you understand the general tax you are expected to pay. You know that yes, this is supposed to be my tax. But if there are other things that you can be done, those are not what I should be discussing, because we are in a public forum. If you invite me, say, okay, how do we now do other things? We know what that will know what we'll be discussing that should have been recorded here. Or I would say that maintaining good book spots are very, very important and be able to manage the business success policy. So if there's any question you can ask. Because people are taking yes, ask the question.
Yes, questions.
Any questions?
No question yet.
I'm sure we've taken notes of the various books that we need to maintain, but that's very important. But sometimes we think accounting, there's this confusion in our heads. Let's put all of these details.
If you maintain good books, the transactions that are very fresh, when you document it, anytime, you say, okay, maybe somebody is owing you 1.5 million. You go and tell the person you are owing me 1 million because of time. I get it. But when you look at your books, tell me 1 million, it's 1.5, right? Or maybe somebody already paid the money. You see the same, the person is going, but when you look at it, say, no, you have already paid. Look at that. You bring in good
This is a personal question. No, mostly, especially for this market, maybe at the beginning of the year, like this, you just sell this, just go to their shop, you just write paper and just say 250,000. So especially you have to use the market to all these market people that don't have business. But what can they really do to be able to save themselves? Yes, now at Rama Park, there are no woman there that they just go to our store like this and sell clothes. They just right. They not say they cannot pay that 250,000, bring 100,000, they'll buy the dress and wait for you. This does not happen.
That's what I would see. See that one is always now.
Yes.
Like that kind of woman.
Yes.
Supposed to maintain good records. Then there's tax return supposed to always feel at the beginning of every, even as owner, as director, whereby you declare your income. You get that now? That they can start at the end of the year or at the every year is my income. And the way we look at that, they will use that one to assess you. But as I've said before, I think they will look at other businesses and see you all are in the same category. Like you understand now when they said, oh, pay 250, and then say, okay, go and bring 100,000 to wipe the other one out. But you have your records to show, which you know cannot be up to that. But there's one thing you must know: government needs tax to be able to meet up their responsibility to what to the citizen. Are you getting me now? But as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, the need is also on you to keep good records so that you can also be a responsible citizen, so that the relevant authority will not exploit you. The point you just raised now is that they said don't keep records. Don't blame them. By a level of their understanding but I believe the way you are now, based on what you have shared now, no matter how small the business is, if you have a good record, I get me, you go to them. If you don't want to hear you move to another higher authority. Like what you were saying, you invited the board of internal revenue. If you have told me that the director of the court, because they like this kind of sensitization. Am I complete? Because the board of internal revenue is supposed to have that good relationship. So the federal just reply they came because it's part of it. You must keep on educating the citizen. You must keep on enlightening them why there's need to pay this tax, but it should not also be arbitrary because governments understand that business keep expanding. They don't know they are trying to drop it, but it's your record that will not dictate that whether you are expanding or the business is dropping. And it should be their neat way. If you are not able to afford having a comprehensive computerized system, and there are good tools you can maintain, simple and neat, and your auditor or your tax person can form an upper level of that thing up, and you don't run there smoothly. Is that okay? Yes. Any other question?
Thank you. In the absence of no other question, not important here. So, thank you so much. I'm sure we've learned a lot. So you didn't want to go into some meetings. Yes,
When you invite me,
but
but maintaining the books makes the work easier. Yeah, so that when they come, you can just say, what is it? You cannot come to the rest. But books is the best thing to maintain.
so much. Thank you. I'm sure we are learning a lot. So we decided in first question to hear like ask so you just ask some policy, listen to tax consultant and hear from the accounting side. Then in the event that you feel exploited, it's also need for you to know what to do from the side of the law. So we're welcoming our legal luminary. In fact, your new name is President. His name is President I Walker. So he will be helping us to understand the legal side of taxation and how we should manage ourselves, our businesses as it relates to that. So you're welcome. Please.
And then, My name is President. But if you have a doubt as to the name, you can issue me a check to show that you reflect. Take my boss. That's the good. All those kind of money. Former colleague. I don't know whether you were chased out of that place. Like I was not to be.
The service is not being appreciated.
You know, doesn't better.
But that was why the federal government said they didn't say gold, they didn't say copper. Just primarily what they did.
But it was a contract.
It was a contract. We are often managed that. Yeah, you go with services. After I buy contractor, I think it was supposed to be there with 6. After I buy the federal government, they just kept quiet, they didn't get them stop, they just let us there.
So it's the one was a very fine project.
Yeah, very.
I'm going to be here and apply to have the numbers of people and learn and train others. Tax issue is one of the biggest problem of SMEs. SMEs employ 50% of population as it is today. 50% of population is employed by SMEs. And 97% of the money outside is only raised from SMEs. Okay, thank you. Small medium enterprise, going straight to the definition now. Small medium enterprise, if you are running a small enterprise, it means that you have a staff of 1 to 49, and you have a revenue of 0 to 5 million. So if you are running a stylist, you have a manager of revenue, I know that's what it is like. You have what is it? You are selling the home. I'm sure your money is not on a family comprising your rent, salary, and investment. You are what? Small enterprise. But it's what we call medium. Medium enterprise from 50 to 100 staff, 5 million to 500. So startup grant is within this medium. I don't think people are more than 5 million. So medium enterprise, enterprise that you know the assets and value and all those things put together. The company is 6 million. We actually present you rented down to cost analysis. That is not less than 1 million. You pay staff, maybe 5 staff, or maybe 40,000 a month, times 5, that's 200,000. That's in a month, 100,000, that's 12 months, that's 1 million. You are getting 3.5 million, $1.5. You don't buy lights, nothing, not do everything. So your revenue in a year. So of course, I have a small, medium. So those definition is very important. I actually take this medium to industrial level. Above 500 million. We are all we support ourselves in the market. One market of the market. Share market is going to boost your business. So every organization actually make it marketed from great from one level to another. Very important. So what are there are federal taxes, there are state government taxes, and there are local government taxes. Which one are you paying for? You have not government tax so that you are paying like that so that you don't have to start saving it. It's not free. That one, that's how you pay before.
The second tax.
Okay.
Value-added tax. Value-added tax.
Value added tax parts. Madam,
Value-added tax.
that's your government.
Sorry, value-added tax.
Oh. So now, Peter, what do you maybe Peter to?
To the state tax revenue.
Those states in our revenue service. Until you pay back,
FRRs, I guess.
no, your tax, who do you pay to? You don't know, just pay.
No, from what she explained today, she did not exactly say.
For what you got.
Yes.
Separation.
Yes.
Separation. So I'm also showing you buy products. That's one thing that you also pay to. But what do you pay Peter for?
Salary.
Salary. What do you want?
Every day there's a deduction they make. Like first of all, we are actually got out we are also when our vacation there. So every at the end of the year, there is a way they do it more than to go to that tax board. Then we use it that as shaman fund.
Okay.
So we go there, everybody collect your tax clearance at the end of the year. After because there's a place to put that this was the amount they deducting from your salary every month. So that was how I got to pay back that.
Pay it here. Okay.
Yes, but for you, we don't need to do it rules to do it like one place where at the end of every year, for somebody you go to that place and play your task and show this power station.
Well, yeah, I will do it once in a while.
Maybe not maybe the boss do it on his own directly. We are not doing it.
You got to work your working as well.
It has to do here.
Is it? You know, footballers sign an agreement, they go to check the tax. They go to China when they go to tax. What is about the tax? Why? So therefore, it brings us to what really is tax. What is tax? Tax is the ecological contribution. Ecological contribution that you pay to develop for development. How they use in building roads, how they use in security, how they use in doing other white water and other social amenities. Because you are paying tax, let us value. That's why they are borrowing money from China. But they are not doing that. Maybe additional we're addressing money. So the president is borrowing money in China, going back to use the pay tax. So the tax is what the compulsory ones contribution. Not voluntary. That means you are here now, you are not paying tax, you are paying tax. Hello. So I want to also know what do you think is taxation? The wrong thing.
Well, I think tax is, it is, like he said, a compulsory payment to the government to help with the making of roads and all of the amenities that we need to stay where we are.
Okay, very good. But when they are very corruption, they actually tax. They tax it and they use it. The problem is that they tax it and they share it. And get it now. So, but that's not an excuse to evade what? Tax. Federal tax. Everybody mentioned VAT. That all the tax you pay, VAT. So the goods you buy. There's company income tax. And then for big companies, withholding tax on companies, there's petroleum profit tax. For companies also. There's education tax for where companies pay for education to the different education sector. Capital gain tax. For those who live in the city, capital gain tax. And corporate workers. Stamp duty tax. For those who are CFO. Your parents have a house that CFO, you know, they stamp duty. But they can give you CFO. All this goes to what? Federal governments. Hello.
Aye.
Personal income tax doesn't always go to federal, doesn't always go to state sorry. It can also go to what? Federal. You know, and the criteria is if you are a federal staff, you pay your quota to federal government. If you are a state staff or private, pay your quota towards states. So,
Aye.
pay your quota to states. So, because of the now alliance, whether you work in a private school that has body schools in Wales, he has body school in Benin, he has in Lagos, he has a lot. They have moved from Benin to a lot of tourism as the vice headmaster. Where will the people goes to the new states? So they are very regretted. That's the problem with tax administration. What they do with that, your school doesn't want to change it, they just leave it like that.
Yes.
That's why you know they are shorting the state
Yes.
where it's using their own. And God forbid that you have a car where school smoking, you are polluting the air, or you're not going to put 1 naira to their ecological retention. That's not painful.
When some teachers think let our school there, because the new one they don't have, and they don't have the long process to start again, so they just continue using their data. That person
You don't deduct for the whole one.
exactly like so that because that person was not, they already know that when they open, they know that the staff is full. They see the word is just they don't know that to start asking those with the question. So they just they need it there.
Wow.
Someone asked this question earlier, but I didn't quite get it. What do you get like benefit personally from paying tax?
Yes, that's a good question. You see these roads now, you leave the office. You're not saying that there's no
Yeah.
You like that?
Yes.
You also like this, you know, by you go the road, you go to you see some policemen around. And in case they don't pass you to stop, you can not stand in car, just move. You like this here.
Yes.
To provide security, provide good road. Your education, you know what your school fees is spent in there.
So this is the
University of Benin.
Everybody's school fees that you pay there. You're not thinking in your mind that the same school fees you are paying is what your parents paid for your last month or school. Because the federal companies that pay what we call the federal income tax. So you now, they will now federal income tax 1% goes to TDF. TDF now transmitted to third fund. Third fund collects 1% of tax on all year revenue, and that share among universities to give all residents to give people that loan of the third fund. To do some house. Maybe university wants to build that, they will increase the school fees. So one benefit of tax that you should know is that you are taking education cheap. School fees of the regular government is bigger than your own because money is paying tax. You understand? So that's not benefit for it. So I hope I will encourage you to pay. So federal tax, those federal who work in federal institution pay to federal. Those who work in state institution, private institution pay to state. That's as it relates to what Peter personal income tax. There are no tasks that are specific for states to collect. States needs also collect some taxes so that they can be working. That's the next one. So we need to encourage them that pay your what? Or once again, there's planning to work. You must pay your tax. Are you getting it? Yes, sir. I know I'm going to training camp where I said the governor can do, they won't bring me up. So I've learned to always praise government when I'm training. I heard they don't look at their face. I thought their face was, how come this man, this not from Kano knows about this, that they are government secretary? I kept on saying it. Say, $1,000. I saw the face again, they look at me again. It's okay, they are surprised. one came from he knows that this man is always a thief. So after some long teaching, I went back to it again. He's taking that measure for that time. What asked you? I said, stop it. Stop it. They stop it. My government is not a thief. Your government is responsible man. I said, sorry. I didn't say you can do that. I said you can do dollar. But I said responsible currency. Your government is very responsible. I don't know what to stand up for there. They don't know people here. The dollar is responsible. Anybody that dollar attaches to is a responsible person. You might have told him that the man, the government is better. If you work in government, the government is better than the same. People that is on the middle of some they don't want to work. The man is better. That's one of the essence. Just about so when you are training, don't talk. I can just talk about no that you know that work with there. It's not like more. I think that is a manager. They are going to put you on. The God that is working, the God that is playing the work. So pay tax. So state tax are one. Pay as you pay. Pay as you want. Another state government tax is capital gain tax. Capital gain, not company working like they are making this to pay capital gains. There is also stamp duties. You are very attentive to this student, only to that the federal government may stamp to the federal government. So I'm repeating it again. That states please stamp duty to state. The people ask me, how many stamp duty are we going to do? The stamp duties that you pay to the federal government that were companies. And stamp duty into pay to state government like individuals. An individual wants to buy land on the RCO, pay to state government. If the company has a serious transaction like want to put it in a deed pay to the federal government. Nobody can have stamp duty. There's also taxes for lodging and lotto. Provide them. Best bet now. That are the ones with the child.
Betting.
Betting, yes, betting. So you pay tax to what? State governments. Pay tax to state governments. But what are those on for online? Do you know where betting offices is? We're not going to be online. If you win, I credit your alert. I'll let you for UK. You just know and say, don't win, or system, don't show you don't win. More than money in the lorry. You just call the person, confirm your phone number, confirm your features. It's not the efficiency of service, it's the innovation of tax. This is what people that you have to tax. What do you do that is not so. I ask customer in your state. When you say they bet like you have no physical market. It's operating at a space where it's also paying tax, like for subscribe to internet. Do you understand it? So tax administration is also battling with destroying those online. There's this guy that has a general change. PFS. We that they will just include observe that evidence of foolish people. Naira for 2 years ago. The parking, still parking. I don't care if you don't come on fix the rate. Because he has collected dollar in UK, not to transfer, not to exchange it in Naira. He has an advantage, he also increases it. And people are using PFS to check Naira. So the influence of people in that site, of course, and followers give you a stand in that area. People don't rely on that. So no see me there. Who comes in there? Who comes check out PFS? People don't pick more people there. But the CBN got to make full of yourself. They're fighting. Somebody online. You are fighting somebody you can't see. You are playing tourists. The moment you blow the guy, they get more known. Are you getting it? You don't want to just know. That's addressing press conference. You understand? So tax can actually be operated online. Lottery can actually be run online. So lottery tax, pool betting, those are paying to state. All those ones that have those local pool houses. That's the average report. The only do you have the money to go. You don't check. What I pay. So that the one that tax competition, they are really serious. To me, that is strict, must see like what those mega ones, they said provided as a red one red card goes in Lagos is in Pachi, an office in Lagos. Some are not in some are. So when you write it down, you know, you say honestly, they are very efficient on like saying that. You don't want to pay office, you don't want to rent staff, you don't want to pay tax. Are you getting it?
That's a legal work.
Yes, yes. Even when you see people innovating, they are innovating. Can people, if I work with a food bank, I will handle those. I think you did a quoting for Nigeria, one of the one of the big best markets, so one of their partners. You work there for some time, you leave them one establish your own best. Just establish food now. Just establish your own online. Before you start, make sure you play well. So what the people in Nigeria, we go to business that you are not used to. Yeah. Should be used now. You blow money. That time you went up, people also blow money. I said. I'm telling you, so who betting online is something that's people can collaborate and set up and we make good money. Need to treat people go and ask them, don't we have 10 years winner? You know the winner. I get it. So they have been paid their reason to state government. Road taxes, usage of the road. Those money, that money is being collected for you say, check out the park. We have to state government. We take away construction road. But road taxes are for state controlled by state government. What we got recently, like climate parks in Mission Road. Mission Road. And the state government came and said that she will give you one useless receipt. She paid 200 for parking. They don't let them, the local government. And they can't pay 200 for parking, but especially local government tax. I can't pay 200 for parking. Not local government, it was state government. Those people work, they are not government. States. Those people work state. So they gave you, they said they can't pay because the road is not a federal road. It's not a state road, sorry. So they don't ask him, which road are the government constructed? Government collect tax, the road that you have constructed. I can't pay you because the road, you really construct the road tax is to give you for constructing the road and to maintain it. So assuming something happens, this law will come and maintain the road because not state government will really pay for it. That matter. But because technicality said that they should have joined the government to it. So one point is a very important issue.
Need to get it out of that.
Business premises registration. Yes, business premises. That's what they will tell you that come and register your business. You have to do business premises. Over and summer is the maximum is 10,000 for registration. 5,000 for renewal. Business premises registration. 10,000 and 5,000 for renewal. And rural area is 2,000. 1,000 per annum. I'll get it. Business premises to state government. Development levy. Development levy.
What community people are not collecting?
Sir?
Isn't that what community people are not collecting?
Yes. Who pay you what state government? If you don't need to pay, you're over 200. Name your streets. What is your street? What your name? You will pay money to watch state government. Markets. Where state finances are involved. State owned market, state big market and share, pay to the state. Local government big market and still pay taxes. Local now come to the cross of it, which is the tax to collect the local down and I will conflict with the state regularly. One is shop and kiosk rates. Then there's one brings a notice and to come and pay shop and kiosk in this kind of organization. It's grant and public collector. It's like an NGO. And you later you that part, of justice. All that business name. No. For justice. I mean like the church justice.
Yeah, like the church.
They want to cast it out of the like a church. Like you're doing You get. So now everybody can do kiosks and shop for you to take notice. They ignore it. Hello, you also want to pay it, you also want to pay it. Kiosk and have a client. Go back. So giving a shop and kiosk notice client. Go on. So what doesn't want to cut, they call rule that they cannot give you to manufacturing company. The roofing manufacturing company and doors can't give you to one of the soft wood. I've had a lot of people. We are civilians. Hello? You have the damage rates. You have the equal license. Just. Equal license. Not to start selling alcohol. Pay to what? Local governments. You want to have a slaughter slab. You want to have butchering pig. Everybody selling pig here. You want to have your own sponsor slab. Or you want to pick meat for to sell to buy. You want to sell good meat. You pay your wallet to what? Local governments. Hello? The good business. Then no big slab. Not collect for meat. Marriage, death, and death restriction fees. Marriage, death, and death pay to what? Local government. Naming of street restriction fee. Pay to what? Local government. Somebody who asked me, I said it for the state government to pay. For non-state capitals, the rural areas, my village. Right of occupancy fee. The rural area pay to local government. Motor park and markets. Every market where state can access. Domestic animal license. Bicycle truck and wheelbarrow and cars. Most boys are one bicycle and wheelbarrow. They are making more than 3,000 a day. So they should be taxed. We should bring back our car to them. He has apologized on the internet. He went to church to apologize. So the person will forgive him if they require him. That cow looks so brave. That one that is cow, no, I will be very much for the taxes of cats. Trust. Not very possible. I got that their account is short again. Those are people who run away. That was okay.
Yes, that's what the was strike that we can push it. This is so general. Yes,
You don't know it.
that's the way we go that you root we better push at 600. We better push at not
That's almost 2400. Yes. Before we now have to go and rank it. But they said every of such buses, as far as they're concerned, was doing commercial service. And ours was not. So now have to go and rank our bus.
They're supposed to be paying at least in a day, maybe 100 naira. I don't even pay anything.
They still collect 20 naira, 100 naira from all those buses, which is saying pure water.
Yes. I think that they say it's
People who are more clients. You know that it's more expensive to pursue your rights in this country.
Yeah, it's expensive because rights enforcement is not common. It's a legist. You understand?
I was thinking that if lawyers were paid consultation, it would be better off because they would advise you right. But lawyers will get paid when they go to court.
I agree with your point. Not all lawyers. If you are meeting before a case, I will tell you the right thing. You understand? I mustn't go to the court for your own case. I get
When you tell me the right thing about you guys,
yes, yeah, right thing, most clients don't pay. And you just have to do the right thing. And I don't know that transaction to one client, this land is not there. You say if they knew the man expected that condition. This land that I'm saying like this is not doing. Yeah, once you look, they say, I didn't. So I went back to the man, I said, come on, Mr. to find out the person. Go to the man, just my lawyer said this land is not genuine. He said, no, what is it? Sit down. Bring 3 for us to jump. I don't know. Was the lawyer here saying, the lawyer going to ask anybody of the same? You say, no, you just have him talk inside and say, useless guy. So they started this. Now she has started doing what I said. Now we should have blood test. And that's really bad. This. Why I feel like that? Okay, now the lawyer said, oh my, it's just a mistake. You can observe that the man, you are telling the man got very aggressive. What do you mean? Why are you asking me this question? I will kill your money now. You want to know what's problem? No, that's okay. You are giving me just come give me now. He said, no, I'm not that simple. I'm not really becoming more aggressive, but let you land me back. Now what she now doing? That those things I said. You not came back. Later the man said, come back. I said, when there's nothing happen. Now also she was sent to draw before you know it. Why you that the man created all the money? You're not fighting for land for the person with 96. She should have announced strong enough to consider that. I don't go. Money don't go. But now at least you have half of the money to herself, which you used to find another land for her, and better than it. When I the one that last so far, one like you, I said, I want you out every one last somewhere. You know that's so this anything aggressively want to create an impression that so when you advise a client, you don't want we did get it cover for that one. We are very, very advisable. Just saying, madam, what about that? I'm doing to advise clients, you know, will not be like that. Because what is like money, it's not actually client that you know. Okay, like my age now, which of my age can give me a case of 5 million? Which of my age? You understand? You get it? So when the client that will come and pay you, God will also bring it. And then the one round was in the ticket, not nice. We will come to advise well. Let them go say no, don't sign this advice. No. So we don't ask client for location. We say right, but it's not that we don't ask. You get advice for letting it's part of your work. There is a societal part of your work. It's not when you start working out, have to write, have to do my CV, have to do a lot of things. You are not paying for it. The other part of advising is not commercial. It's supposed to be societal work. Then are you making a pastor? So you not advise you, cancel, and you go. When now the pastor say, pastor, please have it. I want us to join our faith together to fast. Sit down. That's it. That's it. Before we busy first. And then okay. What we do is that you have to run for the boat to 5 million. One joke. When the person went back to go and tell the pastor what the stream that they had, the other pastor was eating better bread. With the newly brought. And so that's the latter side. So our part of it is free, but not everything is what is free. Are you getting it now? So if the very good using it, but it's not part of abroad, you are entering, you are paying for the time. Yeah. So who goes there? Like me, where I avoid that, we do it on phone. If you are doing conversation, I can advise you on phone. After I talk on phone, I laugh on phone, you play on phone. So what is that? It's not that any other legal advice on, but that you want to come and see me and sit for me like this, that will consume my time. Are you getting it now? I like this people that maybe I don't know what they take like one gen. And then you're only gen your generator is on. You're supposed to be doing something serious with it. Yeah. Are you getting it now? So you must have a life that has some part in society. And have another life that has profession, which has to be small. But that's one part can actually cover for a lot of people. Are you getting it? So there's management and road closure. Those parties will pay money to local government. Wrong parking charges to local government. Like you say, government is collecting. Very hard on the signboard approximation is local governments. Okay, so those are the issues. So at times, the state government will come and charge you for these local government tax. Now you have your discount, you don't know to your past. This was local government. When local government, this is your state government. I was briefed at the time that I know local government employees. That's what their taxes. State government is taking it over. So I prepared our draft before politics came into it. And they said, no, we have to solve it politically. Because of course, the life one has also been possible. That's a very serious work that we have done. If they don't want to go to work, what they just answer, then they pay me and I should go to work. And they look at that and say, they just allow them, let me allow them be. Many things will buy. I won't work so hard to design it. They saw them that it's too big to go and say, I want to finish. No. Please, don't do this. Don't do that. That's why they just took me that they don't do it. I have to finish it. Already by now, we have judgment and like what to do it. I'm going to have a lot of really good things. Actually,
like we talked about part of the work of society. That case, even though it was there by somebody, the outcome that benefited
yes, but don't they were looking at politics. I'm sure people in China is not no, it's politics. People don't see that. Now maybe the China is running for national office. So this government will be more complex. You can't find somebody who work on the phone. That was not. The other side of politics. That was not recently there was a briefing where they said state government has screwed up local government channels. The chairman came and said it's a lie. They never said so. And none of this is related. You understand? So you want to put down on the it's not what they said to me yet. You understand? So those cases are very strategic and it will affect that sector. What we did prisoner like to vote in 2014, 2013, during my 2014. No place was at all. They started plenty prison. They all was in prison at the first and the first and give them food. They don't know how those citations started. We didn't want to protest for food for them. So these people can vote, they lost more. We started in our body. There's an person that you do that has multiple effects and also switching your capacity. This training you are doing, you are training how many next 1 year, we must start from somewhere. That's starting for what people don't want.
Yeah.
You want to start from you must start from somewhere. People is one person, you want to do this. Small people have to see your work first. What is happening here? Or that nobody wants to give you his work as level. Or give you his resources. You want to see evidence that you actually building capacity. So this is one value of the help that you use to let empower. So this starting stage that is problem. We need those things to that's already taken off that. So that is the end of my presentation. And lastly, I'm not going to telling you that there are multiple taxations. And I want to stop to tell you that citizens are idle, not to challenge this multiplicity of taxation. And more worrisome that citizens are not worth paying tax. And you hear everyone that is here, pay tax, and government work.
This marriage and particularly marriage registration. Recently, I learned there was a judgment that nullifies every marriage that are conducted by the federal government. Because there is federal president here that every marriage that we conducted there are not allowed. So what happens to those?
Those certificates are valid now. Doesn't mean the one said the marriage are not allowed to validate those certificates. You get it. It's a high court decision. Because in the court, so the government will test the court. Also be tested at the court at the Supreme Court. So they are just saying that because if marriage is not really taxation, there's going to be marriage solemnization and the taxation of it. That we're going to get married and we're going to pay fees. I can get married and pay fees in other things. I get it now. After the bank, your branch, your bank branch, you can pay to it now. I get it. So the fact that you say manage the levies of local government Doesn't necessarily mean the celebration of it must also be at the government for registry. Assuming the ever say it's illegal, I can do it for the marriage at the federal. I'm not going to pay the fee. I'm not going to marriage. But how much is it? Please. That legalizes if the fee is equal. Just want to give it if there's a what is valuable because you really pay fees go over. I want to pay it. Doesn't illegalize the ceremony. Taking place, or the children are already popping out of this. Are you getting it? So, any other question?
Any other question? Yeah, before I send to the invite, they asked the question, what people want, just as you just said about taxation. There's something that can be done.
Yes, there's something that can be done. People are from the actually challenge it. Recently, I was we're having our discussion about people who have issues as to bank. There's a lot of stuff going on in bank. Let's move on here. Yes. So I want to change my PIN. It's here. Just happy the institution. Let me go and change. Let me do this. I mean, I use one of my ATM that I don't use for online transaction to book a wire ticket. And so you can have to know that airlines domain and people's password. So far, 1 year to read that touch. So I don't use it once. I don't use that ATM for those nonsense. You just change it and do it. I did it try to make myself. I want to be part of. He said, okay, once you give much control, you want this, you did that. Tested it, it's okay. And now the rest of time. Do you understand? So, bank fraud is very serious. So, when we add taxation for it, we discuss with my partners. You see, I will have that on. So, go back and play multiple taxation. Actually, challenging for us.
That was fine. So I would like to give that as a kind of extra benefits to our viewers. But we're recording now. If you are see that up. So now share the chamber. So people that have such cases.
You were saying just now, so you said something that resonated with me that the assurance of right is elitist.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we can make lawyers they should commit to pro bono work?
Yes, I get your question. Lawyering itself is the training of a lawyer is quite elitist. You know, as a lawyer in law school, you do 3 schools, you have to do 3 automatic very senior lawyers. They are introducing you to the court of elitism. And you become a lawyer, wear suit almost every day. You don't wear it, don't class you are wearing as a different suit, don't class men. So that's the elitism in it. That we wear good. And we have to wear politics. And we wear good bread. So the job is not, it's very elitist. So if you every lawyers are doing pro bono, it's God that pro bono don't pay fees. Pro bono will not pay your serious fees. Pro bono will not give your wife money. The divorce rate for lawyers will be high. So you know that. So we need to collect fees. Our wife will have to do. So the lawyering is, but I can assure you that lawyers are trying. Actually doing some people. I'm sure there's no society will not, no matter the emergency, they will keep up. Lawyers do so what's your case, what's the situation, say your situation of it. They can help. But the painful thing is that those who have money don't want to also contribute to lawyer services. The other one will come in, doesn't have what they call that sending form. Some person said they want to challenge sacking of my secretary by this administration. It's very good. Say, please, we give up. They check another lawyer. How can you do a job for such people? Like this on the they can just say one of their men. I don't see something. One can say, Jeff, and you get justice. You understand? So, the guy is a problem. So, when we have more people, rich man will secure. It's a problem.
Yeah, sir, another question. I learned for you to become a son.
Yes.
They take a look at the pro bono cases that you have carried out and won.
It is the most minimum. And it's a pro bono cases. Let me tell you something. To become a son, you need a very good government. That's what they are checking. Big things. You need to have stopped library that are stopped, even with new cables. And what they are looking at. Pro bono, go. I have not been 3 women for my children. Chasing my presence. So they decided that I'm not going to say from my sweat, my shoe. I don't know that. What you do is if it is spoken to all basis, I'll say that one that I don't. So guys, if listening, the major thing that you have got that is that money has eats it. So there's something that money don't do. You better know that eat it. You have to swallow money. When you don't have that, swallow money. When you don't you look, they are trying to research on people who are is it married or is not going to be able to consider they are like out of them that for this you have now you know to share or you know this now but then they got your office they don't go get this is squeezing them they are popping their jackets if you now work their body will be work now for that they're looking fresh
Rental services, yes, happens to be we went through the corners of our special Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So we are going to talk about